Are you one of the thousands of people who started a little bit late with your social media marketing and now you're trying to catch up? We're going to address that in today's video. Number one, the first thing that we want to do if you got started late with your social media is get started right now. Like right now, okay? And so what I mean by that is we want to figure out if you're an author specifically, which is how this video was inspired, then what's your book about? It's probably some niche area or it's probably some topic specific type of book. So if it is, and I'm assuming it's around the nonprofit world or nonfiction world, then we want to start making sure that we're creating content around those topics to start building up some level of authority. Now, authority takes a long time to build, but you can start doing it now by starting to create some content immediately. Start sharing some of the things that you know, that you uniquely know, your opinion on things. Start scheduling content to go out so you don't have to remember. Use a simple tool like Hootsuite that costs next to nothing to schedule out tweets and schedule out posts so you can get them going. And if you have some budget, hire someone. Maybe all they do is they create some images for you or they create some quote bubbles or something like that from your book. Hire someone, right? Hop on Fiverr and find an expert that you can work with. How do you know they're good? Well, ask for some examples of their work. Ask for them to talk about their strategy with social media. Ask for them to see if they'll be willing to have a phone call if they're in the US and speak English, right? You would just want to see them, make sure that they kind of have an idea of what they're doing so you can get a good feel for their skill level. What we want to do is begin to at least show that as authors or publishing houses or people who are looking up your book, if they click over to your social, at least they start seeing some activity. So once you've started to create some content, you have it scheduled to go out, perhaps you've added someone to your team who's going to start creating content for you, right? Which could be images, could be quotes from your book, could be facts about things to do with your book or your topic or your business. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to need to start running some ads. So I hope you have some budget saved up. It doesn't have to be a ton of money, but we're going to start running some ads to start driving some traffic. And this is under the assumption that you have a website. I hope. A website of some sort. If you don't, make one, right? So Squarespace or whatever you want to use. There's 1,000,001 different website builder services out there, all of which are pretty inexpensive. Go out and claim your website and start building up a name for yourself so we can start driving some traffic and promoting some content for you. So if you're an author writing a book about a specific topic, well then let's turn that post into an ad through Facebook, right? And advertise that post to people interested in the topic of the post. So you can start building some authority out there, start getting your name in front of people so that's unique. The next thing I would do, I'd probably start live streaming periodically. Start live streaming on Facebook talking about your topic. I would probably create a Facebook group so you can start collecting people, before your book launches, or if your book is already launched, then start using some of that content to create social media content to build from. Advertising is probably going to play a pretty critical role depending on how quickly you want to be able to grow. Organic growth is really extremely hard. The good news is there's also tons of places that are looking for people to write for them. And this can help you expand your reach too. Almost every state in the United States has a local small paper in your town or in your city. And guess what? Every single one of those newspapers need content. How do they get content? Well, sometimes they buy it, sometimes they have people, sometimes writers write in. And guess what? Other times content creators like you with expertise in a specific topic area reach out to them and say, hey, I just wrote this 1,000-word blog. You're welcome to use it. Would you be interested? And maybe they print it in their newspaper. And guess what? At the bottom is your byline. And in your byline is your social media handle and your website, where people can go to your website and subscribe to get your monthly newsletter or whatever it is you want to do. The next thing I would do is once I've created some content, added someone to my team who can start creating images and video about my content, about my books, about my expertise, is I would start looking for some influencers that you can collaborate with, whether that means being paid or that they're just willing to collaborate with you. So there's going to be those upper echelon people with 1 million followers already, and then there's going to be like the normal micro influencers with 2,000 or 3,000 followers who might be interested in collaborating with you. Reach out to those people. Let them know, hey, I just published this book on this topic. I would love to do this with you. I'd love to, would you be willing to come on a live stream and talk about, your expertise and, our two expertise mesh well together. So maybe we could do a show together. But what you want to do is start creating partnerships within the industry to build each other up, right? A raising tide raises all ships. So we want to look for people doing something similar that we can collaborate with. Stop thinking of them only as competition, right? Think of them as adjacent with communities that are probably interested in what you're doing. Because if you can get a collaboration going with someone who's in an adjacent industry or written a book about a similar topic, well, their community is probably interested in your community and what you're talking about. The next thing I would do would be to start growing my Twitter account. And I would start growing my Twitter account by going out and finding other Twitter accounts that are similar to what I'm talking about and following their followers. About 15 to 20% of those people will probably follow you back. Now, at the very beginning, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a little while. It's going to take a month or two for you to probably creep past 100. But you can follow 100, 200 people a day on Twitter without getting in trouble. And there's also a lot of tools, one of which I'm going to put in the description of this video, that you can use that'll do it for you in the background. So go out and start building that community off of fellow like-minded people, right? And the third thing I would do, or whatever number it is that I'm on at this point, is look for additional collaboration opportunities. So I would look for, are there podcasts that I might be a great guest for? Maybe I can get on their show. I would look for, other newspapers or other media places on the internet that I could potentially write for and get my name out in front of. I would definitely have ads running on Facebook and on Twitter and on LinkedIn if you can afford it, to start pumping out your name and getting your name out in front of people, right? If you can't afford $3,000 or $4,000 a month for a consultant like myself, then go out and start investing in this stuff on your own, right? It's not too late. You can still do this. You just got to get moving right away. Right? You want to start building your community, developing your content, add someone to your team who can add to that content, schedule content ahead of time, live stream, look for opportunities with influencers, reach out to those influencers, have a big enough list of influencers so you don't get discouraged too quickly. Think outside the box. But you're not too late. It can still happen. You can make up some time here. It's just going to take consistency and effort and purpose. You can do it. If this video was helpful, please subscribe or share it with a friend. I release videos every single week about business, marketing, and finding life's balance. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne